We are up to the service of Yizkor, and at this time, this is the moment we will be remembering our beloved departed. And before we begin, I'd like to share a reflection at this time. So I'm going to share something personal from my life and my experience of loss, but the reason why I'm sharing it is because I think it's something that all those of us who have lost a loved one can implicitly understand. My mom passed away 6 years ago. She had pancreatic cancer and she died at the age of 72. Too young, way too young. And of course, when you go through a moment like that in life, as we all know, nothing can prepare us for such a thing. The way my memory works for the time when she died, it's all these little snippets of memory that are somewhat disjointed. I remember getting the phone call at 4:30 in the morning, letting me know that mom had passed. I remember the blur of activity that followed that as I became the point person in my family for obvious reasons, who was going to organize the funeral and the arrangements that needed to happen at that point. Snippets of memory of the actual funeral itself. And I can say that probably through all of those early hours and days, I had a kind of numbness that sort of settled over me during that time, because I became very focused on all the things that had to happen. Some of us respond immediately that way. Some of us are able to go into the grieving process right away. We each have our own way of going through it. I remember it didn't actually fully hit me until I was sitting in my parents' house for Shiva. And I was staying in one of the guest bedrooms, and there was in the closet there is where my mom kept some of her clothes, and the closet door was open, and I remember looking and seeing some of mom's dresses and her blouses and her suits hanging there. And somehow just that moment of seeing her stuff right there, that's when it all hit me like a ton of bricks. That's when I just became completely overwhelmed with grief and tears. Just seeing that closet door with her clothes of her life just there in the silence. And that's when I realized she was gone. And in the ensuing weeks and months, it came in waves. It came at moments like that, often unexpected moments. And again, I'm sharing this because I know that this is what we all go through. There comes a time, a holiday, a moment, the moment when you want to pick up the phone and call mom and tell her something and you realize you can't. All of those moments that happen. And of course, there's a grieving process we call it a grieving process, but when you lose a loved one, the pain never goes away. Like, one of my therapists once said, it's not that the pain can ever go away. It's just something that we have to learn how to live with. And I think that that's so true. I remember the things from the Jewish tradition that helped me to cope with the loss. And actually, I want to share one of the things that gave me comfort and gave me strength in my grieving process over time. And that is a phrase that comes up again and again with respect to those who have passed on. It's Tehei Nishmata Tzrura B'Tzror HaChayim. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. And that phrase is often, you see it on tombstones, actually. It's often some of the abbreviated Hebrew letters you see, sometimes it's written out. And we say that as well. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. And I want to just take a moment to talk about what that means. What exactly is the bond of life? What is that referring to? And when you start to research the sources, you see commentaries like the Radak, who brings in various sources from the Talmud and other commentaries And basically, to make a long story short, he says that the Tzror HaChaim, that bond of life, refers to Olam Haba, it refers to the world to come, the spiritual realm, where the souls of our beloved departed are kept, cherished, and safe in the loving heart, the loving embrace of God. And that's a beautiful idea that we can hold on to. But I'll tell you, what actually helped me was not that traditional, or shall I say conventional interpretation of Tzror HaChaim, but rather another interpretation that I want to bring to us today. And that is, let's read that expression literally. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life, hechayim. If you look at the word chayim, literally, it means the living. May her soul be bound up bound to the living. That's really a way of translating it. That this is actually a statement about those of us who are still in this world, who are alive in this world. In a way, it's a kind of a prayer or a kind of a recognition that our loved ones stay connected to us as we continue on in this journey of life. And we take this step and the next step forward of our lives, never fully healing from the pain of the loss, but always feeling their presence in our living soul, in our lives as we move forward. That's what I really think Tzror HaChaim refers to. It's the connection, the connectedness, the binding of their souls to ours in life. And I just want to point out that at this moment, I'm looking at a screen with the faces of all of you wonderful people, seeing your beautiful faces there. And, I'm standing alone in a room right now, as you are too. But then there's something remarkable about this moment in time and how we're using technology, right? You're actually, the screen you're looking at is you can look at that as a metaphor of the bond of Tzror HaChaim, of the bond of life. That we are connected to each other right now, literally through technology, but that, again, a metaphor for what this is. We are not alone. We have each other right now. And what's true for us in the physical realm, using the tools that we have to defy our experience of being alone, that is infinitely more true in the spiritual realm. In the journey of life itself, with those of us who live and those of us who pass on. So I want us to take a moment just of meditative reflection now to experience the Tzror HaChaim, the bond of life. And so I'm going to ask us now to take a moment, maybe just take a nice cleansing breath. And if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. And just become aware of your breath, gently breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And in this moment of simply sitting in silence with our breath, as we breathe in, breathe into the aliveness of your body. Feel the energies, the subtle and not so subtle energies of your body that's activating your muscles and skeletal system, keeping you sitting as you're sitting now, keeping you alive, the diaphragm that helps the breath come in and out. Feel the aliveness. Some of us can become aware of the beating of our heart. The various micro movements of our muscles and our bodies, even as we sit in apparent stillness. And as we sit in this gentle moment following the breath, I'm going to ask us to do something. As the breath comes in, I want you to see if you can call to mind now an image of the face of a loved one who has passed on. Can you see their face? Can you look into their eyes? Can you see their smile? Maybe we're picturing them simply sitting there silently, looking at us, looking back at us. Maybe we can call to mind a moment of their voice, the sounds of their voice, speaking or maybe even singing. In the next in-breath, see if you can recall the experience of their touch, the warmth of their hand, their skin. Just feel that touch again now in this moment, in this breath. And in that touch, and in that smile, in that voice, in the gaze of their eyes, in the next in-breath, see if you can feel their love for you. How profoundly you matter to them. How profoundly they matter to you. Just feel their neshama now. And just breathe with that for a moment. And in that awareness, notice how very, very much they are with you. That every aspect of the story of their lives that they shared with you, that they touched your life with, that's not gone. That's completely alive in this moment. The fullness of their lives and everything that they were to you is present with you right now in this breath, in that love that you feel. And the memory of them is only a part of the depth of presence which has impacted your life in countless ways, is there in every choice, in every moment. Their love has shaped you. Your neshama, your being is who it is right now because of them. Just feel that love. And indeed know, Tehei nishmatam tzrurot b'tzrur hachayim. Their souls are indeed bound to, connected to. In the very breath of each breath of your life, they are with you. A bond unbreakable in every moment of your life. Yehi zichronam baruch. May their memories be for a blessing, and we all say Amen.